Alright, hello everybody and welcome to my F1 2017 career mode. This is season 3, round 4, and we are at Russia. Moscow. Well, no, we're technically at Sochi. Anyway, let's go to the track. You may have noticed, if you have been paying attention to my YouTube channel, I've just uploaded a practice crash that occurred while I was doing the practice programs around here. Just pushing a little bit too hard, trying to find the limits of the circuit. You can go check that out if you haven't already seen it. It is on the channel. But yeah, I just thought I'd include that as it was a dramatic development during practice. But now we're doing one-shot quali, and so far, so good. And I have to say, I'm feeling fairly confident around here. I've generally always been really competitive around Russia. It's been one of my favourite circuits to drive. Obviously, watching it IRL is a bit of a snoozer, but to drive, it's always been fun, and I've just always been quite competitive around here, so hopefully that will carry on. I could have gone a bit faster around that corner here, but so far so good. I'm currently setting the fastest time, and by a little margin as well. I feel that might be caught on the straight. Because the one thing I've noticed in the performance comparison is that the Ferrari is lacking on the straight to that of some of its rivals. But so far so good. We made it across the straight. Now we've just got the last sector to do, and we are fastest in both the first two sectors. So it is just about completing this lap competitively, which we appear to be doing. I've got a silver Mercedes, which is just about off my pace, but I think as long as we get it right through this last corner, it is going to be pole position. And I will happily accept that.
So qualifying is complete and we're all set for an exciting race tomorrow.
And we've quite comfortably done it there actually by 0.3 of a second. Hamilton is second with Vettel third.
The grid is set then, so that just leaves the race itself.
I tell you what,
where we'll be live with all
pole position isn't always where you want to be starting the Russian Grand Prix. You know, there can be issues starting there, so it's going to be an interesting race, that's for sure, given where we're starting. Obviously, that long run to the first corner, like I said, first isn't always where you want to be starting, particularly when our engine just isn't that fast. So, yeah, this is going to be a nerve-wracking start. But we've managed that pole. We've got a cheeky few resource points, and also that helps us in our rivalry against Seb. So, yeah, it's time to pull back a little bit of credit within the team here. But, without further ado, without keeping you waiting, let's go to the race. Just got to wait for the loading screen. But yeah, I'm really happy with that, actually. That was a solid pole position lap. There are a couple of corners I thought I probably could have flung it round a bit quicker.
Good afternoon from Sochi, as we're almost ready
let's
to
have
go
a look at the grid
This
then.
is what the starting grid looks like for today's race. It's Ferrari in pole position then, and Lewis Hamilton completes the front row. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Vettel, Bottas, Max Verstappen, and Ricciardo, Perez, Ocon, Grosjean, and Kevin Magnussen, Hülkenberg, Alonso, Carlos Sainz, and Massa, Stroll, Kvyat, Jolyon Palmer, and Stoffel van Dorn, Wehrlein, and Marcus Ericsson rounds off the grid. Now it's almost time to...
Well, Ericsson's grid penalty is really going to hurt him, but here we are, pole position, the Russian Grand Prix. This is going to be tense. I'm quite happy with our strategy, so let's just go with it. Start of the race. Oh, this is nerve-wracking. I haven't been on pole yet this season. 13 laps stand between me and a victory. What can we do? It's lights out and away we go. Hamilton's got away well. We haven't, but I'm going to stay on the left because I believe I can slipstream him here. We can slipstream him. Oh, this is going to be tight. Can we get the move done into turn 1? Hamilton is just ahead. Yes, we can. Oh, that's very deep round there, and I think I've got to let Hamilton back through. Hamilton has gone back through, so Lewis Hamilton leads. I tell you what, I'm not letting him out of my sights. I am not letting him get away. You know, we are fighting this one. Oh, God. Fighting this one using all the circuit, and then even more. Trying not to hit him as well. God, this is going to be an entertaining race. Right, Lewis leads. We're second. Vettel is third. And Vettel is kind of clambering on my gearbox a little bit here. Not going to lie, it's making me feel a tad uncomfortable. How was that not a track limits warning? Having a look at Hamilton, just not quite. Move's not quite on there. But if we can get into his slipstream, not quite. So this is going to probably be about trying to stay within the DRS zone for the first couple of laps. But once we get that available to us, I'm hoping that I'll be able to just have a go, because I think we are pretty much on par with him here so far, because he's not really getting away from me. If anything, I'm still giving him a hard time here. Hamilton leads. We're second. Vettel is third. And Vettel is just about within me here. So yeah, this is a strong start for us. I'd rather shed the cone if possible though. Hamilton leads by just under half a second. And I believe we're beginning to pick up a little bit of a toe here, but again, I'm thinking the best thing to do is wait until the DRS comes into effect, because then we can use it to get past. So I'm in no rush right now with what the fuck was that line. Questioning that one, that's for sure. Right, Hamilton, me. If anything, Vettel's getting a little bit closer than I would like here, so I'd just like to just try and perhaps get a little bit closer to Lewis. So that's not how I'm going to do it. In fact, now I'm going to have problems from Vettel. I'm going to leave him the room, but then I'm going to cut him straight off, and then I'm going to go wide myself here. You know, we need to be staying with Lewis. This is not what we need at all. This has been scrappy, and I think that might just clear Lewis out of the DRS if we're not careful. Vettel staying with me. The last thing I want to do is lose the DRS, because once I lose the DRS, it's going to be very hard to catch him. We were very quick in qualifying, but Lewis is just on another level in the race. Yeah, we're 1.2 out, so we need to find a couple attempts in this sector of the circuit, which shouldn't be too difficult, because this is where we seem to pick up the pace. In fact, I'm very confident down there. Right, there's Lewis. He's getting away a little bit, but using every ounce of the circuit available to me here. Hamilton sets the fastest lap, and he in fact has got clear of the DRS zone, but Vettel isn't, and Vettel is with me. So Vettel perhaps having a go. We're not letting Vettel go. That's the last thing we want to do. We cannot let Vettel go and have a chance, otherwise that is our race done, as we take a very interesting line round there and we get our first warning for track limits. And this is going to be very hard to catch Lewis now, but I just wonder if a cheeky little undercut perhaps is on. Give me 1 second. Do apologise for that. The cat was waiting at the door to be let out, so we are now going to resume. Hamilton leads. I'm second, and I'm struggling in that corner particularly, I've noticed, and Hamilton is just pulling away. Hamilton is pulling away. There is no other way of dressing that up. Lewis is just getting away from me here, and that's slightly frustrating, but I feel like well, Jeff is offering me an alternative strategy. I might go for that, actually. Vettel's now coming at me. I didn't see him coming. And Vettel has now got past me for a second. I'm going to try and get up the inside. And that may have worked. No, it hasn't worked. The Ferraris implode at Russia. There is a collision between the two Ferraris. And that, well, that has cost me quite a bit of time. But now we're going to come into the pits that... Well... It's not unusual for Ferrari to implode, but we have done that here at this Russian Grand Prix, and that is going to cost me a boatload of time. Lewis is now long gone. Vettel, I presume, is long gone as well. And it's put us on super softs. Oh, yeah, that's right. That is gutting. That is gutting. I genuinely thought we had a chance at winning this race, and all of a sudden those hopes go tumbling down. We had pole position, and I feel like if I'd have made a better move on Lewis in the opening lap, we'd have been in a better position now. As such, we are not, and in fact that has only set us back that little bit further as we go wide again there. Luckily that's not a track limits warning, but that's gutting. That's gutting. I genuinely thought we had a great chance to win here, but now it's going to be about seeing if we can salvage a podium perhaps. But even so, I felt like we had the pace to go, maybe have a go, maybe have an undercut on Lewis there, but it's just not happened. But unfortunately things happen, you know, these things happen, and I have to look back at it, and I do feel like, you know, Vettel should have backed out of that one. But yeah, Ferraris once again being the catalyst of their own disaster. It's not unknown, sadly, within the sport, but we're on lap 4 now, so this is about what can we do? What can we do to catch up? Well, Ericsson had a penalty of sorts for swapping over parts, but it clearly hasn't done him any favours, because he has got problems as we now push on to try and catch up to the race leaders. I'm not gonna lie, I confess myself angry. But there's nothing I can do now. You know, it's done. What's done is done. Now all I can do is just get focused and try and bring back the best of what I can from this race. It's just frustrating, like we haven't had a win yet this season. I was hoping to be really up there and fighting for the championship, but we just, in qualifying, yes, we've got good pace. It's been a bit of a reverse here, because normally we struggle in qualifying, but our race pace is alright. Here we had great qualifying pace, but Lewis was just that little bit faster in race trim. However, I do wonder if maybe he would have been catchable a little bit later on, but we'll never know now. We'll never know. Like, it's academic now. Best we can do is just get on with the race and try and see where this puts us. The other thing is, there isn't that much tyre in the way of tyre wear around Russia, so I don't know how much of a difference making this early stop will make. I'm hoping it'll put me back there with second, third, fourth at least, because I know first is probably gone in this one now, and that's not the way to take that corner. Leaders are already at turn 1, and that's playing dare a bit with track limits, but at this point I don't have it in me to care as Ericsson pits, and that gets rid of the traffic for now as we go about our race. We've just done a 38.0, so I think we've matched what is the fastest lap of the race, and we've jumped Ricciardo, so I assume that, you know, wherever we have emerged somewhere good. I'm just going to keep pushing, actually. I'm just pushing like hell now. I'm driving with rage. And often I find that when I drive with rage, it gives me that extra second or so a lap. Believe me, it's a psychological thing. I've always done it. For some reason, whenever I'm driving with rage, it always gives me that extra sort of second or so a lap. I just find that extra performance out of nowhere. It's a bit of a mystery, that one, but anyway, oh god. Right, I deserve that as my second warning. I'm starting to take the piss a little bit. But like I said, I'm driving with rage, I am angry, and I want to push. I should probably stop taking the piss though. Because the last thing I want is a 3-second penalty. That will just ruin my race further. and my teammate has in fact come into the pits, but I believe he will exit the pits in front of me. And I'm glad that wasn't a penalty. Actually, I had to back out just to ensure it wasn't. Oh god, that's a drift and a half, that. I'm just trying to put the power down as early as I can, but it's just... That's not the way out of there. Vettel's clear of me by far. And I think so is Verstappen and Bottas. So, I mean, we'd lost a couple of seconds to them, but now we're right on the back of them, and someone has gone off here. I'm not quite sure who that is, but someone's gone in front of us, and that is Lance Stroll, and the safety car's out. Oh, okay, that is quite helpful. We have got a safety car in force here now, so that is going to help me big time. That is going to put me right on the back of everybody again. So that is a beautifully timed safety car. After a race where a few things have gone wrong, just for anyone who's just catching in now, we did lead the race at the... Well, we didn't lead the race. We started on pole. We dropped a second at the start. And then me and Vettel had a collision. I went round and dropped quite a few places. And as a result, I'm now down in P6. But the safety car has just come out. So that is going to play nicely into my hands. I'm going to try and make my way back. So this race definitely not over yet. However, I've got 2 warnings, so I don't want to take the piss with track limits here. But it's now time for me to give some of the front drivers a bit of a headache here. Hamilton will lead. Bottas will be second. Not Bottas, sorry. Vettel will be second. I assume it's Bottas in third. I know there's cars ahead that need to pit. And I think they have done so. Yeah, they have. I'm not quite sure who it is, but Lance Stroll has dropped out of the race, which has prompted this safety car, and that has just benefited me to a T. It's Massa who didn't pit. Right. Part of me was wondering, would it be worth making a stop for another set of ultra soft tyres, but the amount of positions I'd lose, it just wouldn't be. So we've just got to use this now and just push like hell, get ourselves back in this race. So obviously while we're behind the safety car, you know, FP1 and 2 happened today. Answering about as... Sorry, FP1 and FP2 for the 2021 Bahrain Grand Prix took place today. Answered about as many questions as it raised. You know, it just raised further questions on who is where. So I think we've got an interesting season in store for us here. If you haven't seen the result, I'm just going to say now it's interesting, to say the least. Obviously trying to do it with as few spoilers as possible. We have got a 5-lap free-for-all heading our way now, so this is just going to be manic as I try not to clatter into Verstappen. I believe the safety car is going to be out for another lap yet, though, so I think it's going to be more like a 4-lap free-for-all. Because obviously it'll be lap 9, but yeah, it didn't really answer any questions, it just raised a few more. F2 qualifying, obviously Guan Yu Zhou set the pole lap, but obviously that's under investigation right now, and as of the point of recording this video, I do not know the outcome, so I expect it will be a 10-place grid drop, which would put Drugovic, I think it was, into the pole position. But of course, that's just for the feature race. I think it would put, for the first race, which is the top 10 qualifying reversed, I believe that would put Pourchaire on pole if a 10-place penalty was imposed. If not, I believe it's David Beckman. Do correct me if I'm wrong. Obviously, it's been a long day of action on from the Bahrain Grand Prix today. Well, from practice day. Tomorrow is when we see the first race. Obviously, we've got 2 Formula 2 races to look forward to. And if you just don't mind me, I'm going to take a quick swig of my drink. Just while the safety car is going ahead. So yeah, plenty to look forward to tomorrow with the 2 F2 sprint races. And of course, F1 qualifying, which should hopefully answer more questions than today did. Currently right behind Verstappen, so at least I'd like to get Verstappen straight away. Bottas I can get potentially later in the lap, but I need to get Verstappen straight away as soon as this restart comes into effect. And what I need to do is hope that Sebastian Vettel and Lewis Hamilton start battling it out, because that could just bring me into it. Still a little bit angry at what happened, but these things happen, and now I think it's time to stay focused on the job ahead.
Let's get ready to go racing again.
So the safety car is in at the end of this lap.
When the field accelerates, remember, there is no overtaking until the green flags. Safety car in this
Run
lap.
these tyres up a little bit. And Vettel, what's happened to Vettel? Oh no, he was second, that's my bad. I thought Vettel was leading at one point. That's my bad entirely. Right, let's get ready. I'm just going all the time. What are these guys doing? There's some very interesting things happening here. Oh my god, they're nearly going into each other. What is happening?
The track is clear. Green flag.
Right, green flag, and I am not wasting time behind Verstappen, that's for sure. I don't know what was going on there, but yeah, that was manic between third downwards. Everyone just seems to be running into each other. Right, let's go. Let's try and get after the top 3. Now we have to really just make a go of it. Bottas getting a little bit away from me here, but that's okay. We are going to try our best. Oh god, the understeer around there. The car just didn't steer in at all there. Not quite sure what happened there, but it's lost us a lot of time. But we're now catching and trying to stay with the front 3. I'm getting so much understeer. What is with this understeer I'm getting? I don't have damage. That was weird. I just seem to get a load of understeer, especially in the right-hand corners, so I'm not quite sure what's going on there. But anyway, let's try and get after Bottas, but I think he is long gone at this point. And I'm a little bit surprised at the level of understeer I had there. I'm not quite sure what that was about. But, yeah, braking very late there. We've gone deep, and this is just allow it. The front 2 are long gone, but Bottas is just right there now, so we're going to go a little bit attacking if we can, but I think that they're just too quick. You know, we just don't have the pace, which is shocking considering in qualifying we were right, you know, we had a nice pole position. And I think Vettel was getting very close to Lewis Hamilton, but we're not even in that fight. We're struggling a little bit here. But we're starting to catch back up to Valtteri Bottas now, so that's good. A good sign. Maybe we can start putting him under just a little bit of pressure and see if we can get that P3 back. Obviously, we've been on the podium every race this season, but that first win is still eluding me, and I'm eager to get it. Look, we're catching Bottas quite comfortably now, so we should be able to do it relatively soon. In fact, I'm going to have a go. Oh god, that's not the circuit. We can get the run. I believe I'm going to do him here, but he's just got out the corner better. But look at this, here we go. Slipstream, do your thing. It's not really doing its thing. Do your thing better. Ah, that's going to turn into a late overtake, and that's a penalty. That is a penalty. I don't know why I went for that. Well, that's any chance I had of winning this over now, but let's see if we can get the gap to Bottas at least to 3 seconds. I think any chance of winning has gone out the window with that penalty. That's frustrating. That ended up turning into a late overtake because we completely misjudged that, and as a result, that's gutting. This has not been a great race for us today. And oh, look at that! Oh, I've gone very wide now. I'm just pushing too hard, trying to make it go a little less wrong, and it's gone horribly wrong today. I don't suppose there's any chance the front two will have a pile up, is there? Clutching at straws now. But I think Bottas is going to have me covered for P3 here. I tell you what, Vettel's really close to Hamilton now, so I think they're going to have a last lap ding-dong, and oh, that's the wall. I don't think I've taken any damage from it, but I would have taken a light knock. And fucking hell, Joe, what are you doing?
This is your final lap of the race.
I'm not careful, I've got to be concerned about Ocon, I think it is, in 6th. Or Verstappen in 5th even. Again, just playing there with the circuit limits there, but frustration kicking in as we are now thankfully and mercifully on the last lap. I genuinely felt like we had the pace to win, and that's why it's frustrating. I feel like we should have won. Obviously we had the drama with Vettel at the start, I think, without which we'd have been able to have a go at winning, but it's all academic now, I think. And I think this is going to be P4, obviously after a 3 second, I think it's a 3 second penalty. I'm not sure what they give you, but alas, it could have been more. We're on the last lap now. I believe Lewis Hamilton is going to come round to win. It's been a good drive from him round Sochi. A circuit that he has often said is not one of his favourites. But yeah, this has been a scrappy race, and to be fair, I think I'm lucky to get 4th. Sorry guys, I really felt like this could be the win, but it just wasn't to be today.
Well, that's a disappointing result for sure, but we'll try to bounce back in the next one.
So, another fantastic victory for the Silver Arrows. So, Ant, how exactly did they set themselves apart from the pack today?
The difference was clearly in the strategy. You could tell they'd done a lot of work on the pit wall to really optimise each stint and get the most out of the tyres. And it highlights just how much of a team sport this really is. But credit...
And here are our podium drivers today after that excellent race. They've excelled here, as they so often do, and it's a well-deserved victory. Mercedes, then, are on top today.
Well, that's our first time
It's time to
off the
see how
podium
this
this
result affects
season.
the Drivers' Championship. It's a good result.
That's a
for
disappointing
Sebastian
result.
Vettel, who
You know, we
moves
started
further
on
ahead
pole.
at the top of the
We
table.
could have had
Moving
that
on
win.
to the driver of the day then.
I'm pretty sure we could have had it,
Anthony
but
Davidson, who would you
you know,
go
these things
for?
happen,
Felipe
and
Massa.
hopefully
For me, that was an
in the next
outstanding
few
performance that
races
drew on every bit of his
we can
not
bounce back and
unsubstantial
get that win.
experience.
On to the
The championship
constructors
gap
then.
now,
The lead at the
Vettel is
top
leading
comes
by
down
20
after a
points.
strong weekend from
Then
the
I'm a
challenging pack.
point ahead of
There'll be plenty
Hamilton,
more twists and turns
and
to come
just
this season.
3
I hope
ahead
you
of
can join us at the
Bottas.
next race to see
And
just who will
we're
come
still
out
leading
on
the
top.
Constructors' Championship though, so that's a plus, but Vettel is just absolutely killing me at the moment. Well, that was the Russian Grand Prix. Disappointing race. We need to do better. If we're going to go after this championship, we need to do better. There were mistakes made, and there was a controversial collision. I feel like Vettel should have backed out, but, you know, is what it is. Too late to do anything about it now. Join me again for the next race. Thank you for watching.